Hello, welcome to Soul Source and my YouTube channel. My name is Karen Lapuma, and I'm the author of a series of books called A Toolkit for Awakening. These books are based on the goddess warrior on the hero's journey. I'm also an astrologer, and today I'd like to talk to you about the nature of our times and once in a blue moon. We're having the second full moon in on Halloween morning, 7:49 Pacific Daylight Time in California or West Coast. And this is very auspicious because it is exactly conjunct Uranus. Uranus is the rebel genius, unusual. It instigates, it stimulates, it awakens, it challenges, it shocks us. And so we have this expect the unexpected. This is a time when Moon in Taurus is wants cozy and security and sameness, and Uranus is just wants intellectual detachment and change, revolutionizing change. So this is to an amazing time of, we think that this year is going to wind down, but it's accelerating right now. So Uranus will be in Taurus until 2026. So this is they're strange companions because Taurus is the most grounded of the earth signs, and Uranus is, Saturn. In mythology, he put his children into the underworld because he didn't like the way they looked. There's very strong sentimentality, sensitivity, but not emotionalism with Uranus. So we have to expect changes in agriculture, economics, fluctuations, and it's it's going to be an interesting time. It is an interesting time. So first of all, the most important thing is that Mercury has been retrograde. In It's in Libra right now. It was in Scorpio, but it's in Libra. And on November 3rd, do you know what that date is? Election day, we will have it shift gears from going backwards to stationary direct, and it will be an amazing whopper of a conflict with Saturn. And so, what we can expect is Mercury's the mind, Libra wants balance and fairness. It's in a hard angle with Saturn, exact, and that or almost anyway it's Saturn in Capricorn is the structures, the limitations, and so the mind is bogging. There's a churning going on, mental energy. And at the same time, we have these three planets I've been talking to you about: Jupiter, which is expansion, amplification, it like raises the volume. Pluto, death, rebirth, transformation, and Saturn. So Saturn is the binds, restricts, limits, and forms, brings to form and manifest. So we have these three patriarchal heavies in the sign of Capricorn, which is structure, government, authority. And so they are in conflict with this Mercury. And so we have the Capricorn here and the Libra over here, and on this side over here, it's hard to over here. So it's like a T square. So on this side over here, we have Mars in Aries, and it's going retrograde. So retrograde means, well, it means inward energy, but once you get past the sun, it actually amplifies in the cycle of the planets. And so when a planet is retrograde, and especially Mars, you may feel energy's kind of hard to come by, but it's also there's frustration and irritation. Mars is energy drive. It's also assertion and aggression and anger and rage. So we have this in the sign of Aries, which is amplifies it, and then we have it connected to Eris, Eris, and this is a new dwarf planet that is the revealer of discord. It's telling that things are not right and I want to make changes. And when this planet, it hardly moves. It's in the same sign of as when I was born, because it's so far out in the ethers. So we have Mars in Aries, which is the sign of the individual, assertion of the individual, conjunct Eris, the revealer of discord, and they're squaring the patriarchal Capricorn structure. So it's the individual against authority. And then we have the Mercury, and so we have this conflict going right now, which is like a three-legged table. It's intensity, and it's energy, drive. It's a lot is happening on the mundane 3D reality, and we just have to lift ourselves into a higher vibration. Like, watch it, but don't become it. Feel it, but don't identify with this fight and war that's happening on the collective. It's not just the United States, but that's what I'm focusing on. It's global. So one good thing is that Mercury is conjunct Humaya. That's another dwarf planet, and it's in Libra. And Humaya is this goddess of fertility and creativity and regeneration. She's able to regenerate herself from an old woman to a young maiden and create from all over and give birth from all over parts of her body. So this is enormous energy that's connected, and yet it's in conflict with this patriarchal power structures, top down. So it's still going on. This November is an intense month, and I really we need to really keep our spiritual practice going. Also, Mercury is been going retrograde and back and forth, and it has had 3 connections with Uranus. And many astrologers are saying that there's going to be a revealing of secrets. There's so much that is hidden. One big thing that's happening, and I mention it often, is Neptune. Neptune is the mystical escape. It's real spirituality, but also delusions and illusions. And Neptune is in its own sign, and they call it at the bends of the nodal axis, which is the trends of society. And right now we're in Gemini. This is all Western astrology, Gemini and Sagittarius. And what that is the access of disseminating knowledge. And Neptune will be squaring that. So we don't know what's real and what's not. But with this Uranus revolutionizer conjunct with the mind in Scorpio that's coming up again the 3rd time, we're going to have secrets coming out, revealing things. So this is really, really important. And 2 big things I just want to mention is that Jupiter will be conjunct Pluto for the 3rd time on November 12th. And this was very prominent in the pandemic or the Spanish flu of 1918-19. And what this is saying is in April it was conjunct, and in June it was conjunct, and we had spikes of the coronavirus then, and so we're having another spike now. That's what I perceive. And so, but that's also enormous power and transformation. It's just, um, so also Mars is going to change direction on November 3rd. And so this is really, really intense. So this brings out the amplifies again the energy, and then it's going to hit again those patriarchal planets stronger as it did earlier. And so there will be riots no matter who wins the election. And because Mercury is retrograde and goes direct right on election day, we will not know who will be. And Joni Patrice says, "You think you know who's going to win, but it's she feels like there's change." Well, I don't know. So, but all I'm seeing is that these energies, like on November 7th, we have Mars in conjunct the Sun, and Sun often is leadership. So there's a certain we have to be careful. All leaders around the world need to be careful because there could be violence. So we're in the birth canal. This is the death throes of the old. And 2021 will still have fluctuations, but it won't be like this. We're going to have that Uranus square Saturn and Pluto, I mean Jupiter. Saturn and Jupiter will be moving into an air sign on December 21st. And this begins a 20-year cycle of economic, it's called the big conjunction, but it also represents that we're moving into a 200-year cycle of air rather than earth. We just left a cycle of earth, which means all but one 20-year cycle. But this is important because air is lighter and more technological and breezier. So it won't be as heavy as it's been, and we've been in the Capricorn, which is like a little goat. It's structures and so as we move through this birth canal, and as the old regime dies, we have to remember that a greater good exists, and this is so important. And the basis of the hero's journey and the goddess warrior and the toolkit for awakening tells us that we need to follow the cosmic code, which is be proactive, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Use affirmations to affirm and over use them, and use them as a prayer. That's what it is. New age prayer is affirmations, and affirm in the positive, and to meditate, and to find ways to go into nature so that you can soothe yourself and not get so bogged down in the civil unrest that's happening no matter what. So the second one is love and allow and accept what is. These are the cosmic codes. That means just, try to understand the other side. Try to be tolerant and open and accepting and just forgiving of yourself. That's what the goddess is exactly. And beware of drama and struggle and controlling. Those are the aspects of the temptress in the hero's journey. And the warrior tells us to be accountable for our time, attention, and intention. So keep your positive intentions. Know that there's a greater good that's happening, that it's so important not to get caught up in our mind and our rigid belief systems, and make life sacred, because it is a sacred place, and that we are one with the divine, and connecting with that divine and all that is, and the source that we are is the way we can keep our vibrations higher, because enormous light is coming into the earth right now, and it's enormous things, but there's an enormous struggle and a major conflict on this mundane level. And And as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Act as if. So I thank you for listening in this nature of nature of reality, which is so intense, and there's more. And I appreciate you. Please like my video and share it. And I really, really appreciate your time and attention. And thank you so much. Blessings and have a great day.